Okay, Siri said, what can I help you with? How about notes? Spirituality in action. That's what this year is about for Centers for Spiritual Living. And integrity is our topic for the month. Today's topic is how God works through us. Okay. Basically, and this is the simple answer, I'm going to talk more about it, I'm going to expound on it, of course. Basically, God works through us by being us. God works through us by being us. The very life that beats our hearts and pumps our blood and processes the air, it is a Godness. It is that Godness, that life that is in us, all around us, and absolutely everywhere. Without God, Spirit, whatever you want to call it, nothing would be here. We wouldn't be here. We just wouldn't. Now, God is not an external being that has a specific plan for us. The divine is this creative intelligence, this creative imagination that is perfection and wholeness, that is all the intelligence we could ever need, that is wonder, that is joy, that is love, that is anything we could call forth in our life, anything we could want or need. Now, God exists at the cellular level of everything. There's that intelligence, that essence. And as humans, we can't duplicate it. We can't just take the pieces and put it together and have it turn out like God does. And I have a short little story that reminds me of that. So there was a convention of scientists. Oh, thank you, Robert. There's a convention of scientists, and they got together and they read their papers that were all researched, and they talked about it, they discussed it, and they decided that God was no longer needed because, after all, mankind could we could create life. And so one of the scientists was tasked to go and talk to God about this. So the scientist goes, meets with God, and tells her that she's no longer needed because humans can do everything else. We can create life. And so she says with a smile, well, show me. And so the scientist reaches down to pick up some dirt when he's interrupted, and she says, wait a minute, you're going to have to get your own dirt. Okay? Let's face it, there is no life without God, no life with this underlying life essence that is in everything and as everything. I believe human beings were intentionally created. I think humanity was created because Spirit wanted to experience everything as us. I think Spirit wants to experience the ups and downs, the challenges and the successes. I think it wants to experience absolutely what it feels like to be loved and to love. And I think it wants to experience what it feels like to not love and or not be loved. I think God wants to experience it all, and that's why we are all so unique and so different. I think Spirit wants to experience creating beautiful things. I mean, don't you love the energy of creativity when you can just feel that flowing through you? I think God wants that, and I think God, Spirit, wants the experience of smashing things and breaking them. Obviously, because we see some of that in our world, and it's all God. God works through us by being us, by choosing as us, by experiencing life as us, because we each do it differently. God works through us individually, I believe, by allowing our souls to choose the conditions of our lives, to choose our parents, to choose our physical characteristics, to choose what will show up in our lives. Now, I think that this happens, and this is just my belief, I think that before we're born, that our souls decide what they want to come in and learn. I believe our souls decide how they want to grow, what they want to have as their life lessons. And then Spirit just automatically responds, creating the perfect parents and family. Now, sometimes it's the perfectly imperfect parents and family. I think that Spirit creates for us the perfect physical characteristics, the perfect preferences, the perfect outlooks on life, and I believe that that's what we come in with, that support from Spirit. And I think it does it because it wants to experience life just as you can and nobody else can, as each of us can. So how do we take advantage of this God working through us? I think we can take advantage of it by being present. By being present. Spirit speaks to us in the quiet when we are present. We have to slow down our monkey mind. We have to stop and get quiet if we want to listen to Spirit. When we're trying to pay attention to 4 or 5 things, Spirit doesn't have a chance. Absolutely doesn't have a chance. Have you ever had the experience of talking to your beloved or a friend or a coworker or a kid, and they're texting on their phone, they're listening to music, maybe they're filling out some paperwork, maybe even doing a few other things. Have you ever tried to get through to anybody that was doing those things? Obviously not, present in the moment. Well, that's the same thing with Spirit. If we don't settle down, if we don't stop long enough to listen, then we are not going to hear the voice of Spirit. Okay. So I'm going to, even though you don't see the words at this point, I'm going to tell you what Mark Nepo said. And Kathy, I loved your readings. Thank you. They were perfect. Mark Nepo said this about being present. Let me know if the TV comes back on. The moment we stray from where we are, we create a tension between 2 places, where we are and where we are thinking of being. It is this tension that blocks us from the sensation of being fully alive. Because being split in our attention prevents us from being authentic. Even though managing many tasks at once, being skillful in splitting our attention, is considered intelligent. That we stray from the moment is not surprising. The more crucial thing is that we return. That we return to that present moment. We take advantage of the divinity within us by being present and by being authentic, which means being you, who you really are, who you have come to be. Singing your songs your way, singing other people's songs your way. I mean, just showing up in our relationships and at work and in our spiritual practice and in all that we do, showing up fully as who we are. When we show up real and authentic in our relationships, we give other people the opportunity to do that as well. When we show up in a real and authentic way in our relationships, we allow ourselves to be seen. We allow ourselves to be seen, and that way people can appreciate us for who we are. Not for some fake persona, for some mask or costume, but we can be appreciated for who we really, really are. But in order to do that, we have to show up authentically. When we allow ourselves to share our dreams, we give other people permission to dream and to share those dreams. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable with other people and let them know what we need, then we absolutely give those people that love us the opportunity to support us in fulfilling those needs, in creating a life that really, really works for us. As we become more and more authentic, being uniquely you, being the youest you can be, then Spirit has a chance to work through our individuality. Spirit has a chance to work with our gifts, our talents, all that is. And we can take advantage of the godness that lives in, through, as, and around us by living with enthusiasm. I'm going to work on that a little bit, because, yeah, right. The word enthusiasm comes from a root word that means to be inspired by God, possessed by God, filled with God. I mean, can you just imagine what could be more empowering, more exciting than remembering that right here where I am, God is. Right here where I am, God is. What might tomorrow be like if you walked through your day remembering that Spirit is in you, remembering that the power of the universe resides with you, that it is always blessing you, that it is always providing what you need, that it is always there for you, supporting you? What might tomorrow be like if that's what you take into that day? And we can take advantage of the godness that lives in us and for us by not struggling so much. Anybody else here ever do the struggle thing? Okay, so it's not, all right, yeah. Well, Spirit wants the best for us. Spirit has already provided all that is needed for us to live lives that are satisfying, for us to live lives that are full. But when we struggle, we block that. Now, I've struggled some this week with technology. As you all know, we had the Vista watch parties here so that we could watch what was going on at the CSL convention. The great speakers and if you weren't here, you missed some great stuff. And the great music so that we could watch it. And so on Monday, we did this on Monday and Tuesday and Thursday. On Monday, I checked in with the person, the techie person, and said, okay, I'm using Safari, and I've got this, and will it work? And he says, yeah, we'll be on 5:30, you bet, no problem, just click on it. Okay, so it didn't work. Finally, with Kathy's help, and we ended up switching to Firefox, and it worked. And so we had this amazing time of listening to inspirational speakers and music that just opened our hearts. So then Tuesday I thought, I've got this. No problem. Well, wouldn't you know it? On Tuesday there was a totally different setup. There were Facebook videos coming from all over, and we missed the beginnings of some of them because of the technological lacks here. Yes, yeah, struggle, definitely. Yeah. Now on Wednesday we didn't do a watch party. Instead, we did our regular first Wednesday meditation for peace that we do the first Wednesday of every month, and it was an amazing meditation, also led by Lorelei. And during that meditation, I realized that I had been just struggling through this technology stuff. I mean, while I was working on it, I was saying things like, oh, geez, I don't know what I'm doing. I was saying things like, I don't know how this works. Saying those things that, are not real positive. And I could have used somebody to tap me on the shoulder and say, you get more of what you think about. And if this is what you're saying, this is what you're going to get more of. But anyway, during the meditation, I realized that I had been just struggling. And here's the important part. I remembered that struggle is optional. Struggle is not necessary. Now, certainly we are all going to face challenges in our lives. But there's a different kind of energy that goes with facing a challenge, with learning new things, in this trusting place, in this place of knowing that it's all going to work out fine. That's a different energy than struggling. Absolutely a different energy. So I realized that I had been struggling unnecessarily. And what I then realized is that what brings me out of struggle into that place of trusting, absolute trusting, is stopping to remember the presence of the divine. Stopping to remember that right here, right now, always and everywhere, God is. I don't have to go someplace else to find it. I don't have to be someone else to find it. Right here, right now, always, for each one of us, God is. What moves me back into that place of trust is stopping to listen to the divine. Stopping to open and listen. Now, granted, we need to do our intentions, set our intentions, and know what it is we want in life. It's very helpful for us to do our affirmations, to claim our good, because that's the way it absolutely comes to us. But we have to precede that by stopping to listen to the divine. Now, do we have stuff up here? Oh, can we move past this to our affirmation again? Okay, let's say this together. I say yes, and then step aside and listen. I say yes and step aside and listen. Now we'll see if this works. Okay. Great. God works through us when we're open. God works through us in magical ways when we are willing to open to newness and change. God works through us when we're willing to see divinity, when we're willing to see that light that Kathy was talking about, that spark of godness in everyone and everything, no matter how people show up. And that's one of the things I love about our organization, Centers for Spiritual Living, the larger organization, the home organization. Because one of our main teachings, of course, is oneness. We are all connected in the divine. There is this connective tissue, this connective energy that connects us no matter who we are, what we believe, where we have come from, how much we believe we need forgiveness. We are all connected. We are all one in divinity. Now, the spiritual leader of Centers for Spiritual Living is Dr. Ken Gordon, an amazing man, lives in Canada. And he, in conjunction with the CSL, Spiritually Motivated Engagement Committee, sent out the following position statement after one of the United States denominations, one of the big ones, recently voted to exclude LGBTQIA clergy and to deny marriage to LGBTQIA individuals. Now, in case you're not up with all of your initials, because, they keep adding some that are important. Okay, that would be lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgendered, queer, or questioning, intersex, asexual, or allies. So, okay, those are the folks we're talking about, people who express differently. Now, but what they've said applies to all of us, because we all express in our own individual ways. Okay, we're doing good. Here's the statement. We believe oneness and wholeness is the very nature of the infinite, omnipresent, divine reality, God. Our philosophy, the science of mind, accepts and includes all life, all beings, and all creation as the very body of God. We celebrate the diversity of life as the expression of the infinite nature, and we revel in the impulse of love that bursts forth in every aspect of life, from the different flowers in the backyard to the variety of trees in our forests, fish in our seas, birds in the air, and animals that roam our lands. This is the expression of the infinite, infinitely loving creation in all its glory. As the ancient mystic in the Hebrew creation story Genesis teaches us, all creation is originally blessed, for it is said that it is good. Because of this deep faith in our oneness with all life, science of mind and Centers for Spiritual Living are open and affirming. We not only accept, we celebrate our uniqueness and our diversity, including LGBTQIA in our communities. We affirm our LGBTQIA clergy, and we support all our clergy in performing same-sex marriage. It's a good thing. We stand for each and every LGBTQIA person, no matter their faith path, religion, or spirituality. We believe profoundly in loving our neighbors as we love ourselves, which includes acceptance rather than judgment, loving words rather than hateful speech, and deep respect for how love shows up in each individual. He goes on to say, we live in a time when many faith traditions are struggling with doctrines from another time. Doctrines which are often unwelcoming, particularly to the LGBTQIA communities. While religious principles may not change over time, religious doctrine, Religious doctrine must evolve, and concepts of morality evolve toward a greater capacity for love, compassion, and acceptance. While this may be a struggle for some, it's the right path to take. For no religion can be consistent to its principles and be moving away from love. To love God as God is understood, and to love one another are the greatest commandments of the scriptures of all religions. Then he goes on to say this, and he's saying it to the LGBTQIA brothers and sisters everywhere, but this is for all of us. You are precious to life. You are a blessing wherever you go. You cannot be denied or excluded from the divine presence. Your expression of personhood is beloved by the One, for it is unique and perfect for you. You may be belittled, ridiculed, or shamed for your sexual orientation, gender identity, or gender expression, but there is no truth to the names you may be called or the things you may be accused of. Only love and light emanate from the heart of the one, infinite, divine life. And in that, you are absolutely included. Never doubt that you belong in life to life. We're committed to a world that works for everyone, and all are welcome in support of this vision. So that's what we stand for as an organization, that inclusion, that knowing that each one of us is expressing in our own amazing way. And each one of us is needed. If you weren't here on this earth at this time, it would be like there would be a hole in the fabric of the universe. Because what you bring to your family, to your friends, to this community, to the world, could never be replaced exactly by anyone else. Do you know how special you are, folks? If you forget and want to be reminded, my card is on the table out in the lobby. You just call me and I will remind you about your truth, the truth of your divinity, the truth of your preciousness, the truth of your necessity in this universe. You are blessed. So let's take that into prayer. Oneness. We are all part of it. For there is only God, only the divine, only that intelligent, loving essence in all of everything. It's the idea behind all that has ever been created, and it is the very substance out of which everything is made. That's my truth. That's the truth of each person hearing my voice. That's the truth of each person that does not hear my voice. That is the truth of everything that ever has been, everything that ever will be, and everything that is now. It's all an expression of the divine. And so knowing that, I know that all that God is and all that God has is mine to call upon and use. And so I use the creative process. I use that magical law that says we get more of what we think about. I use that magical law that says we can speak our word of truth, and that if we feel it in our gut, if we know that it is true, then the law of love cannot help but respond. The law of love cannot help but create what we have called forth. And so what I call forth for each one of us as we leave this place is a time of blessing. What I call forth for each one of us is that something has been said here that we take with us, that we take the affirmation with us, that we remember when we need to, that right here, right now, God is. It's here for me, it's here through me, it's here as me. Always. Always, always. And so I know blessings for each one of us. I know that each of our paths is filled with delight. I know that each of our paths is filled with whatever answers we need for the challenges in our lives. I know that our paths are filled with surprises from the divine to remind us of its presence. And so we go forth with open hearts. We go forth with open minds. We go forth expecting good from the universe. And so that's what shows up. Now, I am so grateful for this teaching, so grateful that I know how the universe works, that I know that when I put my thoughts in the right place, when I open up to the perfection of the divine, that's what shows up in my life. So I claim that for each of us as we go forward. And in great, great, great gratitude, I just let this go into the law of love, waiting with expectation to see how it will show up, for there is no doubt that it will. So I've spoken my word. I trust. I know it's the truth. I'm grateful. I let it go. And so that's the way it is. And if you want to claim that with me, I invite you to say with me, and so it is. And so it is.
So this is the first song that I wrote with my friend Karen Drucker. Great way to start.
Yeah.
So you can sing the chorus with me if you want. Who cares who you love, as long as you love, as long as you love. Who cares who you love, long as you love, as long as you love. Love between a man and a woman, love between a man and a man, love between two women, it's all a part of life, though some find it hard to understand. Who cares who you love, as long as you love, as long as you love. Who cares who you love, as long as you love, as long as you love. Love is every color of the rainbow, love for each family hand in hand, love instead of fear, the choice to make is clear. In this moment, now I take a stand. Who cares who you love, as long as you love, as long as you love. Who cares who you love, as long as you love, as long as you love. We've all come so far, believe for so long. Love is the greatest thing. How can love be wrong? Who cares who you love, as long as you love, as long as you love. Who cares who you love, as long as you love, as long as you love, as long as you